I'm Hannah Cruz at the Church Musician's Assistant. Welcome back to this series of lessons on how to adapt organ hymns to the piano. Sometimes the 4 parts that are written on the page in your hymnal are actually quite difficult to play on the piano because those parts were written with a choir in mind or with an organist in mind. And of course, on the organ, you have a pedal board, and so the left hand doesn't have to catch the bass as well as the tenor. So in this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate 3 ways that you can play all 4 parts successfully on the piano. Now, sometimes the distance between 2 voices that you're trying to play with one hand, the distance is too far for you to reach. Usually this happens between the bass and the tenor voices, but it can also happen between any of the other voices, such as the tenor and alto or the alto and soprano. Pianists desire to play the soprano and alto with their right hand, and they want to play the bass and tenor with their left hand. But this is not always possible if you want to catch all the notes. So the first way that you can play all 4 parts on the piano is to catch a voice that's too far for one hand to catch. Grab it with the opposite hand. Let me demonstrate with the hymn, Jesus Lover of My Soul, to the tune Aberist With. In the first measure, the bass and the tenor are an interval of a 10th part. And for me personally, that is too far to play both parts together. If I'm lucky, I can play a 9th. So how am I, or someone like me, going to catch the bass, tenor, soprano, and alto in 2 hands? Well, the first method is to reach down with the opposite hand. So instead of playing the bass and tenor together with the left hand, I'm going to catch the tenor with my right hand. I'll play it slowly. The second method is to roll the chord. Roll it from the bass note up to the higher parts, typically. At a slow tempo, this works fine with this hymn, but I have to say if I were playing it faster, at the tempo that I prefer to take this tune, rolling the chords would be a little unwieldy, so this technique does not always work. Rolling the chord also means that not all of the parts will be struck at the exact same time. The bass part will probably come in a little bit earlier than the other parts. Let's now turn to a different hymn for this next example. So I'm going to use Lift High the Cross to the tune Crucifer. In the first measure, already between the bass and the tenor, there's an interval of a 10th, which is too far for me to catch. Now I can't catch the tenor with my right hand because the tenor is over an octave away from the soprano note. So that would be too large of a reach for me to catch in my right hand. What we can do is transpose the parts that are unreachable to a different octave that I can reach. So we'll take that E and the F and G in the tenor line of the first measure, and we'll transpose it up an octave into the right hand. That sounds like this. The aural difference from what is written is only subtle. This is what is actually written. So oftentimes transposing an unreachable part to a different octave is the best method. Okay, I hope those 3 methods were helpful in teaching you how to play an organ part or choral part in 4 voices on the piano.